All right, this one is certainly one of my favorite type of questions. What I really like about this question is it is very practical. Um, I don't know, something like the height of a tree. I mean, not many people want to climb a tree, put a tape measure up next to it, but you could if you needed to. You don't have to know trigonometry. But a question like this, where it wants you to find the width across the river, um, sure, you could get in a boat and you could go across and you could measure that, but it would be very difficult, especially with currents, wanting to push your boat one way or another to be sure that this was directly across, which is what would be the width. So you just have to pick a spot on the opposite side of the river, start measure an angle, walk a certain number of feet, like 100 feet, and then you need no boat, don't risk getting wet or anything. We just want to find this one side of a right triangle, so this will be found with a SOHCAHTOA equation. So if you're trying to find the opposite, you wouldn't use cosine, because cosine has nothing to do with opposite, and you could use sine, but you don't know the hypotenuse, so that would give you two unknowns in your equation. Tangent's the only one that will pair up opposite and adjacent at the same time. And it's always opposite over adjacent. Now we've just got one step to finish this off. Undo divided by 100 by multiplying by 100. And there is our exact answer, which doesn't mean too much to me. I'm going to type it in my calculator. I'm checking to make sure I'm in degree mode, and I am. And I know my answer is going to come out to be more than 100. So let me tell you how I know that. Because if it hadn't, I would know something was wrong. So how I can quickly just eyeball this and know that my answer was supposed to be more than 100. We know that the hypotenuse is supposed to be the biggest side, but the reason why it's the biggest side is because it's always opposite the biggest angle. It's opposite the right angle. If I found this angle, I could say all three have to add up to 180, minus 90 leaves 90, minus 54 leaves 36. And I didn't actually do that calculation in my head, but I knew that this side, 100 feet, was opposite an angle smaller than this side I was trying to find opposite 54. So if this angle is opening up more, I knew this side had to be wider, so I knew my answer was going to be more than 100. So that would help me catch, let me see what my calculator would say in radians. Yeah, my calculator in radians would have said 67.380, and that may not immediately sound wrong, but it doesn't make sense with the rest of the numbers. So if that had happened to me, I would realize I'd made a mistake, and in that case it would have been that my calculator was in the wrong mode. But in the end, 137.638 rounded to the nearest thousandths.